Hi guys, this is Dr. Chad Peters, and we are going to go over 3 simple steps for fixing motor control. Now, motor control is deep. Where we use this stuff the most is when we have a condition that isn't responding to our therapy that we thought probably should, or we'll see this in high-level athletes where they're not getting the functioning that they should. So we'll get into it a little bit deeper. It's also known in the sports conditioning world as neuro re-education. So I want to show you some of the basics on this and how we make this effective in the body, because it might be something you guys can do at home. It's seen more often. I shouldn't say it's very common, but it's seen more often in a high-level athlete type of treatment. So you're going to see this much more often at the major league sports. You're going to see this much more often at the Olympic level stuff. It's not typically done with like your grade school athletes, but there's really no reason it can't be. So it's something to look at. Basically, what I mean by neural reconditioning is how your brain connects to your body. So a few slides ago, I had the picture of the 2 guys talking on the phone. The way I explain this in my clinic is if your brain picks up the phone and is trying to call somewhere and doesn't get the right person to answer the phone, the message isn't getting through. So think of it like this way. If I'm going to touch your big toe, a signal has to go from your big toe back to your brain and immediately relay it back down to your big toe. That happens very, very quickly. And if the signals are crossed, it's kind of like the map to the brain's not working the right way. We need to turn that stuff back on. Now, if it's off, guys, it's definitely still functional. It's just not optimal. And I have examples for these in all kinds of sports. I could bring it up in any sport, but the ones I want to use here are simple ones that are easy to visualize and see. So let's take the softball pitcher, and her junk balls aren't breaking like you'd like them to go. She typically has an 8-inch break on her rise that's curving out of the box, and now it is rising and curving 4 inches out of the box. Now, that might not seem like a big thing to you. I would love to have a 4-inch breaking ball on my rise ball. I don't even have that. But if you are a high-level pitcher that's used to getting this monster break and you're not getting it, there is now aluminum on the ball, and you aren't pitching at the best of your level. Your chances of making it to the next level have just been decreased significantly. And if you're getting paid for this sport, your chance of getting re-signed and getting paid more have just gone down. That's why this kind of stuff, this nerdy, deep building into this stuff, that's why it works so well for high-level athletes, because there's more money there and they will do whatever it takes to get to the next level. My other example is a weightlifter. The strength is dwindling in a weightlifter. Despite their nutrition being good and their sleep and their programming is all great, they're still noticing their strength is down. Or it could be in the runner where their pace has fallen. I was at my all-time best and now it's starting to fall off. My conditioning would suggest it should get better. So you got the idea. Things aren't working like they're supposed to, and I'm going to give you some great examples of this that you can test yourself. We're going to get into 3 simple steps to fix it. So I like my stuff in a particular order. I think we want to go from the most global down to specific. So these 3 tests are done in a certain order. This is the way I'd want you to test them. This is the way I would, in essence, rehab it or rebuild it. So the first one's diaphragmatic breathing. It's also known as belly breathing. What I want you to do is take one hand and put it on your chest, one hand put on your belly, and take a huge deep breath in. So let's take an example of wrong. This is Vanessa. She is my high-level athlete, and she actually had this. She didn't have to act. I came to her with this because I said, man, your thing that I'm treating you for just isn't getting better at the rate I would expect it to. You're still better, you're still functioning, you're still playing, but that's not good enough for me. We want it to go. So check out Vanessa here. She does a breathing, and it's all in the ribs. There's no belly breathing happening at all. Her diaphragm isn't moving. So let's show the correct technique. I cue her, one hand on her chest, one hand on her belly. Now breathe with a deep, big breath in with your belly. So again, I'm going to show you the wrong technique, and then I'm going to show the correct technique. Your diaphragm is arguably the second most important muscle, especially autonomic muscle in the body, right? We're dealing with the heart, which is your primary, and then you got your second one is breathing. So if your signal's not getting to your diaphragm, we know something global is going on. We can correct that very easy by retraining your brain. Here is the diaphragm. Here's what I want you to do. So one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. Get 12 or 15 deep breaths in before that should start to get automatic. I used to recommend like 3 sets of 15. What I've seen is people really don't have to do it. Once you've got it, you've got it. And it's a good way to check. So let's get to test number 2, dead bugs. First is my example of wrong. And in this case, I've got 2 wrongs. The first incorrect technique I have is the spaz.
That's very typical.
Right? You can see Vanessa here, when she starts to do it, she's just kind of got arms and legs going everywhere. There's no definite rhyme or reason of why she's going on. And as an athlete, that should get your attention. I'm not asking for a hard technique. You're basically crawling on the ceiling. The second picture is the more common one, or the second video, is a more common one. I call this the Pinocchio. It's as if she's a doll and she has her elbow and her knee connected, so it's got on the same side. Those are both incorrect. So we want to cue them correctly. To cue them correctly, the same side elbow and knee should come together, as if you are a baby crawling. So it's same side elbow and knee together, opposite side elbow and knee apart, and then go back and forth. And as a practitioner, I will grab one side and I will force it to go that way, and then she'll just do the other one. So once again, let's go through the wrong technique, and you can see how she's got it like a Pinocchio where the same side's going, which you'll see this on probably 95% of your athletes that are having some sort of issue. This is the one that you'll usually be able to see, and it will really kind of hammer home to them they're wrong. And then we have the correct technique where she's coming in there and she's doing it the right way. The cue for that is lay on your back. I want your knees and elbows bent, and I want you to do your eyes closed, and you want to see if it works. Let's get on to number 3. Contracting the individual glutes. Now, I've talked about this in my sciatic video that I put on YouTube. You should be able to contract your glute like twerking in a hip hop video. So my example of wrong, and Vanessa failed it perfectly. When she tried to contract just her one butt cheek, she actually contracted her entire front side. Her quad fired, her hip fell forward, everything came off. You can hear her giggling because she's just like, oh my gosh, I can't even do it. So I tell her, grab your glute, flex your glute hard, and in the video that I did for a sciatica, I actually had them taking that step backwards where they're kind of moving their glutes. Do it to get your brain and butt connection. So we cued her, we got it the right way, now she's got control of her glute. So as you get better at this stuff, which should happen very quickly, I mean, we're talking like 4 to 10 days. Typically with my athletes, man, it might even be 1 or 2 days. They get it back on. You can practice your twerk. At any time, you should be able to grab one glute and contract it without contracting your quad first. So imagine my runners, and they come in here and, man, my hips hurt, or my IT band, or my knees, and it always hurts when I run. Well, how are you running? Are you using your entire front side? And this is getting to be common terminology. Oh, she's anterior dominant, she's anterior dominant, she's anterior dominant. Why she's anterior dominant isn't because she has a weak butt or a weak backside. It's because it's not even turned on. Even as you try to turn it on with more exercises, the signal isn't getting through. Her motor control is wrong. So the way that you fix this is before rehab and exercises, get the motor control right. We can't put the cart in front of the horses. Get the motor control. Now when she's doing the exercises, she's getting the actual training. It's basic up-regulation is what we call it. In the sports world, we have up-regulation, turning muscles back on, turning input back on, and we have down-regulation. Now my favorite test with this with athletes is always going to be the dead bugs. You should be able to lay on your back right now on the floor, eyes closed, hands and elbows bent, knees bent, and do your dead bugs and do it the right way. If you're out, this could be a signal that you need to check them out. So do them in those 3 steps in that order and focus on correct performance. In just a matter of a few days, you should be able to recruit this and get it back online, do your upregulation, and I think you are going to be feeling and performing and recovering much better. You just finished another Rehabtogo. I know you learned something. If you want to know when the next one's coming out so you can be ready for it, all you got to do is subscribe. Hit the little bell, it'll ding and tell you, hey, Chad's got another one coming out. Don't forget to tell your friends, especially those that are like-minded, the kids, the students that are getting into this industry. They know what direction they want to go, but no idea how to get there. This information helps them make those decisions. Look forward to seeing you guys next time.